Welcome to the Simple Minds podcast, where six mates unpack three topics over a new drink each week. Fuck it, just go with that. We'll fix it if it's... Okay, welcome to episode 16 of the Simple Minds podcast. We have a full house today, once again, which is great. On my left, I've got Travis Haydo.
Hey.
Michael Duncan.
Hello.
And Justin Bourne.
What's up?
Classic. Matty Hannum.
Good afternoon.
And as always,
Swaggy C.
Swaggy C, Mr. Conrad Francis, welcome.
G'day, peeps.
Minus the melon pants today.
No melon pants today. I'm slightly disappointed.
I'm glad they're becoming synonymous with this podcast.
Well, they're great pants. Today we've got Trav shooting photos, so we're going to get some more imagery up from the podcast, which is great.
Sorry about the clicking every now and then.
No, all good. Oh, look at that. They're looking good already. Sorry. So
I am surprised that cameras these days don't have a silencer on them.
Well, this is silent, and this is actual.
Jesus. Silence is not working too well. What happened to you by second-hand equipment, Trev?
How do you get the film processed?
That's a really good point. I should probably look into that.
Bob, you know.
Shit. So what are we drinking, Marco?
anyway, so as always, new little drink. Today we are on Rosés.
Love it.
Chateau Lagordon, which is from
said that really well.
southwestern part of France. Yeah.
You said that like you were surprised.
Mate, I was.
Really not.
Cheers, by the way.
Yeah, cheers,
Yeah,
gents.
cheers.
Happy Friday.
Sure.
Can I make an observation, Marco?
Absolutely.
Given that you are the resident expert in drinks.
Bartender.
We're not using that term that Mark...
Mixologist?
Mixologist. Great.
But is that not on the lighter side of rosé?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it. Colour is just something that prompts you for taste. Doesn't have to have any influence on it. You could drink this blindfolded and at room temperature and potentially think it was a red wine, a white wine. But again, trying to continue to improve a little bit of our ability to taste and talk about things that we're trying. There's a really cool acronym to focus on when you're tasting wine or whiskey or anything. You just alter the first letter, but for wine it's FEW. So fruit, earth, and wood is a really cool way of trying to tease out different flavors from your wine. So, within fruit, even just on the nose, right? What do you get? Strawberries? Do you get blackcurrant?
Tart.
Okay, tart.
It's got a little...
So,
I don't think my nose is working today.
It doesn't actually have a strong smell.
I'm not picking up
There-
fruit, really.
There is a subtle berry. I think there is a berry in there.
I think there's grape in there too.
good.
I'm getting a bit of peach almost.
Yeah, peach.
I think the colour fools me with that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, maybe you're just looking at
It's an
Haydo's
interesting
hair.
colour, isn't it? 'Cause it's very sort of peachy coloured, like
I think I'm losing the effect drinking out of a Scotch glass.
something weird going on there, yeah.
But anyway, that's a cool little trick to remember earth. You're talking about stuff like
Does it say
spices
what
and
it says on the
vanillas.
bottle? Is it a 10?
Does it? What do you mean?
The aromas?
Yeah, but I mean, the aromas will just put stuff in your head. It just depends on what you taste.
I'd be interested to see if it says anything about peaches. It does actually look like a peach.
I don't know if I would have chosen it as a rosé
Note-
if it was blind tasting.
Notes of
Yeah.
citrus.
Yeah.
That from the nose to the palate is seducing by its elegance and its
Right.
freshness.
You just dropped a ton of panties.
Citrus though, there's your tart.
Yeah,
Citrus,
yeah,
sort
lemon
of
and
notes.
mine.
So good stuff, Michael.
pithy.
Can't.
Yes.
He's on
What's
fire.
happened?
Lucky we're isolating him on the audio, so we have options in the future.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this and you just heard a long pause, it was probably Conrad.
And don't take it to the toilet this time, yeah? The mood you're in, we don't want to be hearing what's going on.
What? The mood?
The mood he's in.
But anyway, I thought it'd be a cool little
Thank
thing
you,
to have.
Marco.
It's kind
Yeah,
of
that's
nice and
good.
refreshing.
It is very
The weather's gotten really hot in Perth lately again,
Muggy.
quite muggy, and especially in this podcast room, it seems to go up a few degrees as well.
There's a lot of hot air in here.
Yeah, heaves once Conrad enters.
Did you know of this wine? Is this one that you know?
No,
You don't?
I just thought it'd be cool to drink rosé today.
That's great.
So yeah,
Can I ask, when did you get to the point of bringing a rosé?
well, I was either going to make a cocktail today or rosé, but because I wanted to film, I didn't think I'd be able to do both, and I've made enough cocktails in my life.
Yeah, but you make some good cocktails, mate.
Yeah, I'll do it one week, but I still want to be. I haven't filmed anything today, so I want to keep practicing.
Outside of Gary, you and Seb probably make some of the best old fashions I've drunk.
Oh, great. Maybe I'll make old fashions for the next one.
Sounds good. One other interesting idea, like you just raised, is maybe we should try and blind test something at some point.
Oh, so that was the last. So similar lines with the cocktail. I was planning on serving this at room temperature with everyone blindfolded and being like, "What type of wine is this?"
50 Shades of Grey tasting.
Yeah. But
With Mr. Seduction over there.
well, I reckon we should do that. That'd be
Yeah,
interesting.
I reckon so.
We'll do it.
Let's do it.
But anyway, moving on. So
Content.
number one on content today, Mr. Matt Hannum.
Magic.
What have you brought for us today?
So I was really well prepared.
That sounds ominous.
No,
Doesn't feel like you at
well,
all.
not like me at all. That's right. I like to be prepared, but not in this case. So there was a few conversations had, and of the last week, and I'm trying to bring something when it is my topic a little bit or somewhat relevant or something that's actually happening right now that I can sort of talk about. And I had a conversation with a couple of guys in the room this morning, and I guess I'll pose the question first and then sort of tell my story on it. But the question is, when have you done someone a disservice by not telling them the full truth?
Ooh.
So to explain that,
I just got excited.
You know this
I wanted
already.
to go change my pants.
you may have been one of the people in the conversation this morning. But so what came to light this morning, like obviously I run a media agency, we create content, we market, we do all these sorts of things. And one thing that happens a lot is people send me stuff going, hey, can you have a look at this? Friends, family, extended versions of acquaintances, etc. Can you check this out? What do you think? They might be asking about copywriting. They might be asking about, anything basically. Often I'll give some feedback, but not the full truth. So I'm not lying whatsoever. I'm not I'm not even misleading to an extent. But what I'm not doing is really going to the heart of saying what I fully believe for them to make a decision on whether or not they're comfortable with whether I'm right or wrong. It's just my opinion, right? But I normally, I guess, glaze it. And I think we do that. As I thought about that today, I think we do that all the time in all of life.
Yep. Like the Jim Carrey movie Liar Liar, have you seen that? Where he can't.
Not for probably a decade.
Yeah,
So he can't lie, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's not, I'm not talking about lying. I'm talking about the point where you just could have given a better, more honest level of feedback.
Could have been more brutal.
It could have been far more brutal.
Drop more bombs.
And in that example, the amount of times I've written back to someone, had a look over something and say, it's not bad, maybe a few little tweaks in this or this area, rather than saying, you know what, like, fundamentally I think it's wrong because of this. And I guess it's because I don't want to create confrontation in a situation that I guess doesn't need confrontation.
But that doesn't need confrontation.
It does if I'm serving them to the best of my ability.
Yep.
But I guess that's me allowing myself to not serve them to the best of my ability because there might be a negative impact or negative communication back upon me, whether or not they can or can't tolerate that response, or whether or
that
not
comes
they
down
just don't
to
believe
knowing
in
the
it.
person that you're dealing with as well. If you're in an open kind of relationship and you've already talked truth bombs with them a lot, they'd be expecting it. But obviously with somebody that you're not quite sure what the response might be or how they're going to handle it.
Absolutely. Like Mike, you're responding to me. You have clients as well, and this happens in a client situation constantly.
Yeah.
As many of us in the room have worked with clients or other people at work, but it happens in a personal situation. But this this situation I'm raising is something that's slightly more personal, but I guess it's around a professional realm, and it's really, I've stopped and said, I need to put myself out on the ledge a little bit more and give some harder advice.
Yeah.
And it's just advice on my opinion. Because
Can I just ask, or can I just pose a challenge to everyone though? Can I challenge you all to wear one hat when we address this question? I'm fucking up to my eyeballs with I'm a this, I'm a that, it's personal, it's business. Fuck man, we're all just one person. Let's just be people and just speak from the heart about everything. Yeah? Let's forget the businesses right now. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I love the topic, okay, but I don't think it should be any different in business than in personal life.
I don't think it is.
I reckon it can be.
Okay, I don't think it is.
But you just said in business it happens to me and then mentioned personal.
I'm saying in many walks of life, the same situation arises, and it's whether or not I make the personal choice on how deep I provide
The choice.
my feedback.
choice.
The choice.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. But
So it doesn't-
request, I guess, accepted.
Mission accepted.
We'll do from one hat. Yeah.
Jeez, you can dress him down. I love it.
No, that literally wasn't meant to be dressing down. I was like,
But
okay,
he
fair
can.
question.
I think it's because
But I
it's
can.
Santiago. one of my
He is the
idols.
So Conrad, what do you mean by that then? If you speak.
No, but the label of personal, the label of business tends
yeah.
to be a filter on and either
Yeah, you
something
put
we-
yourself here, you put yourself there. Or...
Yeah.
And I've spent a lot of my life in recent years just trying to be one and speak from one space.
Yeah.
Which I believe the greats do. The greats don't speak about business or personal. They speak about life.
What is.
What
Yeah.
is. So
I've been down that over the last little while, been down that in regards to client contact, family contact, whatever, trying to be as truthful as possible or as open as possible. Doesn't always happen.
And I say to my clients, I'm going to talk to you like I would speak to my mum.
Yeah.
Because I don't want the filter of professionalism. I want to be with you on this journey.
So that's a trick you use to.
It's not a trick.
Sorry, I don't mean trick in
Tactic.
terms of it's a tactic or it's a hack or what. I was just avoiding using the word hack because sometimes I don't like using it. But
It's a truth.
that's what you do. That's what
Ultimate.
you use.
It allows me to then pull their barriers down to being sold anything or positioned a different way because I don't want to be seen that way.
And it allows you not to have to. It's an extra level you don't need to worry about.
100%.
Because
How you being
just-
perceived.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't now need to worry about whatever you said. It just came from the heart.
Yeah.
Came from wherever.
100%.
Yeah, because the amount of little white lies that you build up, it's very hard to. You can't track that stuff, and it will come and
But
bite,
see, I don't
bite you
even
in the
like. I
bum.
don't even think it goes to the level of white lie. I think it's like neglecting to go as hard on the truth.
Come on, man. If it's not true, it's a fucking lie.
No, but you're referring to like telling someone like, for example, if someone had a bit of food stuck in their teeth, like
Marco told me that the other day.
Yeah, but if you don't say that, you're doing them a disservice. It's not lying by not saying anything, right?
That's right.
But we are all here to serve, right?
Yeah,
We
but
are
I think
all
that's
here
where
to serve.
you're going.
I'm just saying,
down.
it's not necessarily. I don't want to.
Like when you're giving
people to listen to
feedback.
this saying, it's lying versus not lying.
No.
I'm talking about the grey between just not fully.
It's not having that,
Not fully hitting the truth. Just talking about at a pleasantry level.
particularly
Feeling
when.
ill. I'm feeling ill.
What do you think the self-talk is like when you're doing that? If you're speaking to somebody and you are you sort of thinking to yourself, should I say this or shouldn't, or are you just saying what you're saying? So you're thinking about it while you're doing it?
It's a good point. Look, as I said, this only really came up on in my current thinking frame sort of today. So I've been just processing it a little bit. I think. I think it all. I process it all, and then I run a filter through and decide to what level of brutality I want to respond in. Whether brutal is the right word or not. I think that's probably what I do.
Yeah, I have something on what helps when you're trying to coach yourself through at least saying what you think you shouldn't, which is, am I doing this out of the best intentions? Because, and I'm not saying that I get this every time, even sometimes upon reflection or like prepping myself for the conversation, I might say, well, if this is coming from a good place and I'm actually like, I genuinely believe I'm trying to help them, then like I'm good. and it might be really harsh or whatever, but if the intent is good,
Yeah, I agree
then
with
I
you.
think it helps. It almost helps you give yourself permission to do it.
But you win, right? Because you're playing with truth, and the other person or the other group of people have the opportunity to win
Yeah.
by taking it on board or not.
Yeah.
It's also your version of truth, right?
It's always going to be your version of truth.
But we know that. But because it's your version of truth, I guess there's a element of how confident are you in what you're talking about, and you in that situation of, are you, is it appropriate for you to be giving that level of harsh advice? So I think that the more you are confident in, like,
But if
strong in your
you're
conviction-
if you're speaking through you and how you've experienced something,
Yeah.
I'm massive about this. And it's a case of not reading a book and thinking you're a fucking expert. It's living your life and telling a story. If you're coming from a great place and you can reference mark that through personal experience and on your journey, why wouldn't you want to give the truth? It is your version of the truth, but it's validated by steps you've taken and lived.
Probably because you don't want to be perceived as an asshole.
That's where it comes
Yeah.
down.
To be honest.
That's where it comes down to, and I think like
You want to be feared or liked,
Yeah.
That's
it's
what I mean.
that the courage, that. Do
I
you
like
want
that word.
the courage to speak the truth,
Yeah.
and that fear of being disliked. And I've seen that through, I don't know whether it's seen on the basketball field, which would be interesting, but in teams of when that individual's got to step up, they'd rather be liked by others than have the courage to speak what needs to be said. And therefore, bad habits and other things continue to run rife within the team because that individual would rather be the high fives all around, even though the people around them are doing stuff that's not should be done. That's where I've seen it, and I've been in plenty of situations where you don't go that one step because you fear of the potential outcome, which is just all the usual bullshit self-talk of
Well, the fact that you fear,
consequences.
it's bullshit, right?
Yeah, because they might perceive it that way, or they're going to respond that way, or if it was a potential client, they're going to fire you, or something's going to blow up, and so you take that one step down, or you craft 3 or 4 different ways of saying the one thing to soften the blow.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, and so, but I think it comes back to with that courage, courage of whether you want to be liked or disliked. But then I think it's an amalgamation of intent. If you believe you're doing the right thing, is that the right thing? Whether you're going to be liked or not, and then I think that comes back to not giving a fuck, right? And how much you want.
Right.
If you want to, if you want to go down that path of how comfortable or confident you are to not give a fuck what others think of you. Because at the end of the day, if they're not going to take that advice on board or whatever that may be, is it any worth your time to continue giving that or even putting up with whatever it is that it is?
And the thing is, you have no control of what they're going to
No,
do.
you have
No, you don't.
No.
So,
But you have control over how you say something.
Yeah.
And that's a skill in
But
communication.
depending on the individual, it can be hard.
Has anyone? So the question was like, when have you done someone a disservice? We've talked around it really well, but does anyone have an example or something that's come up, business, personal life, whatever that they want to talk about? Because I'd love to throw another slant. I've sort of thrown a bit of a professional, personal mix on it, where maybe someone from a personal realm has asked something professionally, but yeah.
And you were there yesterday, right, when we had Purser talk about stuff. Ben Purser is the captain of a basketball club, the Perry Lakes Hawks, that I'm an assistant coach with, and Travis is the pretend player with.
Is that the guy that sits on the sidelines with a big chain and like a player?
No, basketball player, he's an athlete.
I'm a water specialist.
Towel labour. So what we identified last year, and one of the reasons why I've come back to participate with this club, is because I believe there was a lot of facades up and communication wasn't at its most truthful. Ben's a very, very good player, one of the best players in the league. Trev, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
And I think he's got this perception of being unapproachable because of who he is.
He has that perception.
The team
does.
Okay,
does.
wow.
Okay.
And he defends himself a lot, and he pushes up to management a lot, but doesn't push down to players a lot. And we challenged Ben on this, and we had some examples. And over the last few months, Ben and I have been working on things, and we got to a point yesterday where I said, okay, you can, and we've been working on this, I want you to give us 3 to 5 things that you're going to want your teammates to hold you accountable for, to allow us to believe in success. And that's what he did. Now, by doing that, he wanted his teammates to hold him accountable, which means you've opened the communication lines for honest communication. Let them know what you want them to hold you accountable to. Give them permission. And I think when you give people permission to be honest, only great things can come of that.
Of course, yeah.
That's my ultimately my understanding of communication, leadership, and all of that type of stuff. Be very clear, because then you're removing all the bullshit stuff. You know, all that grey. Can I or can I not challenge the great man Peterson? Okay, he wants to be challenged. So
but he hasn't communicated.
I think it's just been all glossed over, and he's been in a role where I think expectations or understandings have gotten to a point where, well, you know it more than I do. You've been around that club longer than I have.
He's pointing at me, Travis.
I think we devalued communication too much, and we've had an enjoyment factor which hasn't allowed us to have explicitly accountable conversations, particularly in the context of a basketball game.
And that comes down to pure communication then.
That's all it is,
I think communication's an undervalued trait or value in life, in everything, in business, in relationships.
We do all this stuff every day. Like, we go to the shop, somebody says, how are you? Or how's your day been? We say, good.
Yeah, but is it, that's not disservicing that individual by responding.
I don't know, is it not?
Like, the most common one is, like, we get applications all the time on, like, or whatever with work. And, by just going, yeah, good job, keep it up, and it's pretty poor or average, it's a great example of disserving that individual by not giving them very constructive, brutal feedback. By going, you need a lot of work to get anywhere in this industry is probably the real advice that they should get. But then, is that the right advice at the time for that individual is probably debatable, right?
But are you doing it to protect the individual, or are you doing it to protect yourself? And I think this is the conversation Jason King and I had, and Jason's in this room as an active participant member at the moment. We had that conversation today.
He's drinking wine.
Inactive.
Active say something shortly, but the issue is that we got to the point, and through conversation we got to the point about how vulnerable you need to be, or how vulnerable you'd probably need to be the influencer you're trying to be. And I think it is that thing. Who are we protecting if we're not? Are we protecting ourselves from whatever bullshit story we're trying?
We default to doing that all the time.
I think so, right? But we do know that the pathway to growth and true love of self is vulnerability.
It's opening yourself up completely, And
the 4 agreements talk to it in the first agreement. Be impeccable with your words. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. That's it. If you love someone enough, or if you want to be true enough, just speak.
It's almost like that saying that's come about of, like, to be honest.
Because you're asking permission to be honest. Fuck that. That's expected.
To be frank.
Can I be frank with you?
I'm not sure this gone down the path you thought it would.
Yeah, no, it's exactly the path that I sort of intended, because it was just, it was an observation that was made this morning, a conversation we had, and I was like, look, we do this all the time. And I think we always go through layers, because I then very quickly looked in my last week to 2 weeks and said, look, there's been quite a few opportunities that I really could have done maybe better there. However, I'm known amongst my family and friend group, business group, as someone that can be a little bit brutal at times and get straight to the point. Right. And so I'm already known or perceived that way a little bit, yet I saw a lot of opportunities to take it to another level.
I think we just...
Was that good or bad? I don't know.
Not Conrad level. Surely not Conrad.
Conrad's another level.
Bruce Wayne is just not the level that I aspire to.
What do you mean? We breathe the same air right now, bro. I'm infecting you.
As they're sitting next to each other.
I was blowing into your ear as well.
And if there was another silence there that you just heard, everybody, that probably was also something Conrad said.
No, I mean...
I'm just joking. But look, this is why...
It's coming from the right place. Everyone in my conversation come from the right place.
You have to work at it. It's hard work.
That's
being honest, it's crazy. Being honest is hard work. Go figure that shit out.
Yeah. Because we start off the day by saying, all good. Like, these little things, it builds up, man.
Well, we like community, right? We love community. That's what humans do. And part of that is not standing out at times, and part of that's not jumping up and being different. You want to blend in. And so when you tell someone something that might be a bit, whether truthful or whether it's not truthful, that they don't like it, you're sort of giving yourself an opportunity to be a step away from, I guess, that community. And
speak with truth and love. That's it. Mic drop. I'm out of this topic.
Go on.
All right, you're out of this topic. Can we just turn his mic off and we'll finish this one off without him?
Done.
No, look, I think, has anyone else got another story or something they want to add? We've probably got a little bit of time.
You were going to tweak the question a little bit before?
No, I just said we talked around the topic, but the actual question was, when have you done that? We probably don't have time to individually jump on that unless someone else has another story that isn't similar to what we've just raised between myself and Conrad.
I was just watching for other mouths to open, but I don't actually. I find myself more often than not just deciding that I haven't been asked for an opinion. So where I could, I might have good intentions to improve something or give someone feedback, but because I haven't been asked for an opinion, I generally just keep my mouth shut. So, but I'd be interested if you guys, because it sounds like you guys on a day-to-day basis have a lot of opportunity you get asked for feedback a lot.
Client contact.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe in my environment, not so much.
Well, it's a good point, because what makes your opinion the truthful, correct thing, just because you think it is.
Truth.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
It is truth.
I think you just come back to the intent bit, and you can give the feedback if it's for a good reason. Like if you're doing it to help them, or at least you think you are trying to help them, and you genuinely believe that by giving them that. But likewise, don't just go just don't go tearing everyone to shreds because you think you're going to help them without being asked for an opinion. I guess is
maybe I should have got this advice before I did that. Thanks for it being 2 weeks late.
I don't know if you have to be asked for it though. It depends on, I guess, the situation.
Yeah, totally.
But in the context of like coaching or maybe other situations, like if you're responsible to keep other individuals accountable, then you do have to speak those truths that are hard and awkward and you may fear to be disliked.
Yeah.
But when are you not responsible for that?
Sorry?
When are you not responsible for that?
Not responsible for that?
Yeah, so you said when you're responsible for keeping others accountable, when are you not responsible?
Yeah, I guess you could argue yourself into always being responsible and always having to give the
I don't know
feedback.
I don't think you
want to go.
That's why I'm sitting there blank of just like...
Well, it's debatable. It's certainly debatable.
I'll maybe debate it any day of the week.
Yeah, so, I mean...
I thought you were out of this topic.
Yeah.
We can switch them off.
Well, he's switched off. He's just still talking. The actual room.
Good question.
Awesome.
And I think it's like you deal with it daily, either keeping your mouth shut because you haven't been asked, or you just are fearful of hurting feelings or being perceived in a bad way.
Yeah.
So you want to share your story or you're not?
Well, I shared sort of a mixture of a few stories, and I thought it might be best just to do that.
You did a Walt Disney on us.
Yeah, in a way, but I think you get it, and I tried to do it in a way that was understandable, I guess, for a lot of people. So, it's just that situation when you sort of you're telling the truth, but you're really just not sort of digging right into.
Well, you have my permission to be brutally honest with me.
I think I've done that a couple of times recently. After
To everyone. I don't give a fuck. I don't want bullshit stories.
Yeah, no, I know, and I've actually that was probably part that led to even this question, because a couple of times recently I've really got dug in and asked what I consider some really tough questions with you, and then almost walked away after thinking, was that too much? At what point was that just ridiculous? And am I just projecting other things on?
That's actually an interesting angle to flip it on. Is how much do you how often are you aware of how comfortable you're making people feel to give you that sort of feedback?
I generally check in with a lot of people. Oh, so you talk personally or in group?
Oh, well,
You're
I was
looking at
opening
me,
up
sorry.
the floor, but hey,
No.
it's very uncommon for you to jump in first, so go ahead.
Honesty, Marco. I like it.
Good intent.
But that was
Oh,
sarcasm.
mate, we all love ripping into you. I'm fearful that we're doing it a bit much, but
Today might be a bit rough.
No, I think I say I invite conversation.
Yeah.
I put people around you that can be honest with me.
yeah.
So do you filter the people around you that you can be honest with and you shouldn't be honest all the time, and then you take those sort of scenarios and that's why you're doing a disservice? Do you think you do that subconsciously? Or like say I know I can be completely honest with Conrad, but say my mother, you know, like I feel like I can't be completely honest with her like every single time. Or, you know, like say the neighbour, you know, I think his grass looks terrible. But,
You don't tell him that?
you know, like I'm not going to go and tell him that, you know, sort of thing. So do you think you subconsciously filter that with the people around you?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's conflict there, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a certain level of conflict there you probably don't want.
Probably not the best example. But
You can be cheeky and ask for permission to be honest, right? If you
Yeah.
really want to take the layman's approach, you can ask that permission. But I don't. You might. I don't think the topics you might speak to different people about might be different, but I don't think the honesty should be any different.
Yeah. But quickly thinking about it with the people that I keep around me, I think I would be comfortable getting that sort of feedback from.
Yeah, I would have said you were honest all the fucking time, but
Yeah.
that's my opinion. Knowing you as a person, I don't know whether you have too many shit conversations.
I give out a fair bit of shit chat. So.
I think we all do that. We call it banter.
But yeah, some people will be intimidated to give you certain feedback depending on the situation,
Yeah.
and vice versa. Like, yeah.
So how hard are you working to make them comfortable?
Yeah, and you got to keep developing potentially those relationships. I
And
guess.
there's a natural hierarchy as well, isn't there? There is hierarchy in life. And I
But
suppose
is
maybe
that
comes
topical
into-
hierarchy or truth hierarchy?
Well, I think just hierarchy in general. Like maybe some people aren't comfortable telling somebody they maybe perceive as of a higher hierarchy.
Or it just comes back to the same reason why you don't give it, because you fear the response or the outcome or the uncomfortableness of, like if you were to tell your your mum or dad something you don't agree with, you fear it because of the perceived consequence, right?
Yeah.
And that's all it is. It's a perceived consequence.
Because reality doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like, I'm not going to say that thing because they're going to blow up or this is that.
red pill or blue pill?
Wow.
Exactly.
Well, I think we should move on. I think that was really
Does
good.
anyone know to turn down my notifications volume?
Yeah, you put your equipment in the other room before you come in.
Says Matt on his phone.
Mine's not ringing, it's buzzing. I'm mindful of it making noises.
Okay, so while you guys sort that out, we're going to move on to Mike Duncan.
Mike Dunk.
Mike Dunk.
Play basketball.
Duncan.
Could you
Mike.
dunk it?
No.
Shame.
That's the net.
Oh, that's all right.
It's better than I've ever been able to do.
I can touch the net standing, so not to rub it in.
We'll rub it out.
You ever been able to dunk it? Tom?
Yeah, when I was 16.
Just for that year.
Yeah.
I got up
It's a very good year.
again when I was
It's a good vintage.
31, 32. I managed to get a couple of hands on the ring when I went back and tested myself after doing a bit
How
of
close
stuff.
would you get now?
Nowhere near it.
You get net. You get.
Oh, easy net. You don't get anything net, you net.
You get anything.
What do you got for us today, Mike?
Slightly topical on a couple of levels.
With your crush.
Actually, my crush, my man crush.
Your
Know
man
who
crush.
is? Who's my man crush?
Peterson?
Conrad?
Oh, yeah, Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson?
Put me on the spot.
The evil in all of us?
If I'm not going to go down the evil
Was
path
that?
today.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
was
well,
Peterson.
our capacity for
Drinking
evil.
pink wine, not the evil headspace.
But he's currently he's just been in Australia, obviously promoting his book. He's been doing a couple of lectures, a lot of interviews. Go and check this guy out if you haven't done. Jordan Peterson, just on YouTube, search him up.
What's he going to give you?
What's he going to give me?
He might give you a book.
You're kicking the arse. That's what he does. So yeah, I've talked about him before, professor in psychology from University of Toronto. And I saw a post this morning, actually was it last night, on the Daily Stoic Facebook feed. And we haven't talked Stoicism for a little bit. That was one of the topics that popped up in the first few podcasts.
There are hints of it.
There's definitely been hints, but like in the last few, I don't remember any direct. maybe a couple of Aurelius quotes here and there, but
A lot of Stoic commentary.
yeah. The thing is, we've started to practice the Stoic, like
I've got a
practice
bit
being.
deeper than Stoicism for most of Mike's topics, I think.
Yeah. The Stoicism was something I really delved deep into for the last couple of years, and it's something that has become part of my daily ritual in regards to habits you should take up. But Jordan Peterson's new book, which is the 12 Rules for Life, the Daily Stoic did a twist on this and wanted to come up with 12 rules that Stoics would come up with. So I wanted to go through the 12 and then ask the question.
So they directly reference Peterson?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They did. They talked about his book, 12 Rules for Life, an Antidote to Chaos, as being an interesting read. And it spurned a meme of interesting people giving their own 12 rules for life.
We should come up with 12.
Exactly.
13.
But the Stoics, okay, I'm going to go through the 12 and see if you agree with them or not. Number 1, live as if you died, but were resuscitated and every minute was a gift. Number 2, every person you meet is an opportunity for kindness. Number 3, don't read for show, read to be better, which is what you said earlier on. You said you read something, then pretend you're an expert at something. Just read to get it in and use it. Number 4, be forgiving of others, but don't demand forgiveness for yourself. Number 5, try to hold as few opinions as possible. So try to hold as few opinions as possible.
That's my biggest problem. Can you just go back one, Michael? Sorry.
Yeah. So number 4, be forgiving of others, but don't demand forgiveness for yourself.
Yeah.
Number 6 is an interesting one. Pick a Cato, who is one of the original Stoics, and judge each difficult decision with what would Cato do, or what would Conrad do, or what would Batman do.
What would Jesus Christ do?
Exactly. So choose somebody like that and sort of follow them. And
It's hard work.
Yeah. 7, practice good spending habits. Keep in touch with poverty.
Yeah, I agree with that.
8, always
Sponsored by
consider...
by money.
Exactly, yeah. 8, always consider the worst case scenario. So negative visualization, which is a really good habit to get into in regards to looking at what could possibly happen in your life, be it car crash, disability, kids dying, whatever. Use that as a tool to appreciate life. Number 9, keep a list of what you've learned from other people and remember to thank them often. Number 10, get up early every day, as early as you can. And number 11, really interesting one, which a few of us have taken on board, take cold showers.
Yeah.
And number 12,
I'm back there, thanks, Mike.
this is a really good one. This is actually a real Gary V one. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Very interesting with the last topic there.
Yeah.
Always do the right thing, I suppose, is that
There
last
was also
one.
another one that sort of related in about, I think 2/3 down, you said something as well there.
Don't read for show, read to be better.
No. Oh,
Every person you meet is an opportunity for kindness.
Yeah,
kind of.
maybe that was what I
Which
was
is maybe
getting at,
honesty,
yeah.
being
Try to
with
hold
kindness.
as few opinions as
So I thought that was really
Opinions as well.
interesting
Sorry,
read.
opinions too. Yeah, you're right,
Yeah.
mate. Just to
Yeah,
kind of
anyone to be interested.
because you've got to be careful about whether it's just an opinion or you know,
truth.
are you using the truth? Yep.
It's a reality.
But isn't the truth an opinion anyway?
Yep.
Yeah, or it's not your opinion because it should be your truth, but it's somebody else's opinion maybe. Am I right? Am I talking rubbish? What was I talking about? I came into that one too late.
It's a
there. I was still
wormhole that
reading.
we just had avoided right there.
So, I mean, I thought that was a really interesting topical.
Yeah, it's
Jordan
cool. Can you
Peterson,
circulate
right?
that? I really would like
I will,
that.
yeah. Follow the Daily Stoic on Facebook, by the way, and on Instagram, really good. What is a rule you would add to a 12-rule guide to life? If you had,
Here we go.
and it could be something. No. What is a rule you would like?
Practice self-love.
Practice self-love from Conrad. I like that. How do you explain?
I find myself talking to people a lot and have done over the last few years. And one of my biggest challenges was to accept myself.
Yep.
So until you accept yourself, then you can't really be the proponent of anything.
Which is where you're accepting yourself
Yeah.
and then speaking the truth
100%.
from love.
Yeah. So once you accept yourself, I firmly believe everything that comes from you comes from a better place.
Yep.
And I say this, and I've spoken at a couple of events where I've challenged the audience who are predominantly females in relation to love.
Yep.
And expecting to be loved when you don't love yourself is somewhat of a conundrum.
Yep.
What are you expecting someone to love if you don't love what you already have?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah, practice self-love.
Excellent.
No glove.
Anybody else? Matt?
Jeez. Pass. No, I can't think of what to jump in and say right now on that.
It is a big thing, a guide to life. I mean, it's like, it's not...
I mean, this is not in the 12 here, but I mean, just take responsibility.
But that's what he's looking for. Other things, I think, which is that what you're saying.
Yeah, that's not in here. Like that's, I think, everything starts with you.
Yep.
Everything starts with you.
Well, that's all there is.
Self-love starts with you.
The universe starts with you.
Yeah.
And ends with you.
So, yeah, take responsibility for everything.
Yep. I like number 3, don't read for show, read to be better. I think knowledge is one of the most powerful. I mean, there's the,
knowledge is easy. Knowledge is easy, right? Wisdom is the fucking hard part,
But
which
I
is the
think
filter for
what I like
attention.
about knowledge and reading and actually taking it in is that your opinions then are a little bit more, they matter a little bit more.
More established.
Yeah, more established.
More founded, more
You
grounded.
know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's not about getting into an argument about...
Which what some people call, when they end up in a debate with me, intimidating,
Yep.
because I can reference things.
Yep.
Um,
Jordan Peterson, if you ever watched him, there's a
Yeah.
Cathy Newman from Channel 4 in the UK interview that he does.
Conrad versus Peterson.
Oh,
no, I wouldn't.
Peterson would win hands.
No, I'm not that much of a dick.
But no, honestly, guys, do yourself a favour, watch this Cathy Newman interview. This is a Channel 4 newscaster who, she's a strong female newscaster, obviously got into a high position, and Jordan Peterson has some views on feminism, good views. I mean, just watch this, it's absolutely amazing how she attacks him, puts words in his mouth, and he just is so calm in the interview and breaks it down and just wins. It's halfway through, she just stops and can't speak. And he's like, aha.
I'd love to watch that.
It's
I've got
like
I've had interesting conversation on feminism.
And he actually talked about it after. He said he probably shouldn't have said that because that was a little bit like a bit of a
Callous.
bit callous. But
It's true.
she just stopped. She couldn't think anymore because he had just like.
But there's so much rhetoric around, right? This is the problem. We find ourselves espousing so much bullshit because someone else has said it. Well, what does it fucking mean?
Try and understand it.
Yeah.
Try and
Put it through you know.
live it, sort of.
And there's so much rhetoric around on
any
on
words mean.
everything.
It's all about action, right?
Yeah, but the first action should be, what does it mean to you? We were living in a world, and again, we talked about it earlier. How many people just share shit on social without actually explaining why they shared it?
There's so much noise, and that noise is just bouncing around, and people are using that noise to pretend that they can win an argument on this or on that, whatever. It's a real mess just now with noise and communication.
If you want to influence people, and you want to create, a better, more in-depth interaction, put it through you and talk about your shit.
Yeah, your shit first.
Yeah.
Yeah, not somebody else's shit.
Eminem did it, right? 8 Mile. I don't know if anyone watched that movie,
Yep.
8 Mile, but right at the end, Eminem was in a rap battle with a dude called Papa Doc, and the situation occurred where these raps, they used to just talk about each other in a bad way, and Eminem lived in a trailer park, and his mum was questionable character, and he had a girlfriend that had a baby and all this type of shit, right? He rapped his shit out and left big Papa Doc dude with nothing to rap about.
Nothing to come back.
Right
on.
now, I haven't validated the story, but that was apparently a story that was about how he established himself.
Yep.
And if it is anywhere near the truth, own the truth.
And that's what I'm talking about. Once the truth is that, your real truth is out
You're in
there,
the power, man. No one's got
you've
any
got
shit on
nothing to
you.
worry about.
Well, that's how you beat bullies. So if a bully is bullying you, you agree with them, and you go, oh yeah, I do have a big nose.
Yeah.
And then they can't
They
actually
can't go at you.
fuel themselves to,
It's vulnerability, right?
Hey?
Being vulnerable.
Yeah, owning your shit.
Yeah.
People call it baggage. Fuck that.
Yeah. I could add one to this list. My one would be
Hug a tree.
to what's that?
Hug a tree a day.
Hug a tree. I think it's actually Hug a Mate Week, which is
it?
yeah, it's like I don't know how true it is, but it's hug a mate to like break the stigma down between men, sort of.
Oh, that was sexy.
Anyway, mine would be give to give rather than giving to receive.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
I'm a very, very strong believer in that, and that's one thing that just reading through there that I would probably put on for my
I really like that.
Give for the sake of giving.
That's big in the Hindu. I'm reading the Gita
Yeah,
now,
and the
and that's
Gita.
huge on that. Is like, do not
Oh,
expect
I'm going to
anything in
podcast
return.
to circulate to this group, and I will circulate later. But the
Yeah.
Gita got mentioned. I thought about you
Excellent.
immediately. But giving to give.
You're not-
Have you got an example where you've done that in the last week?
Dave Clare, a good friend, that we catch up with breakfast for.
Shout out, Dave.
Yeah, so he spoke to me about some belt buckles, and I said, he goes, "Oh, how much?" I said, "Don't worry about it, I got you." So that's a gift.
The profit of purpose, or what is it?
Profit, yeah. He wants to touch. No, that's probably the wrong word.
Impact.
Yeah, impacts 90 million people. So
900 million litres?
No, 90.
I saw some
90
million.
aggressive number out there.
So, but yeah, that's probably a good example. That's
And you
one
do
thing-
that quite often, Trav.
One thing I practice probably the most, not to like, I am a big believer in not giving to receive, because when you start tit for tatting, you actually create that internal, of other people, and I think that's not a good thing. Once you give,
It just takes care of you anyway, right? I mean, you can completely detach.
Yeah.
It just provides for you.
So that would be my 2 bobs worth.
Marco.
I'm still thinking. I don't have one that immediately jumps to mind that's outside of that list, because I probably would have gone down the same path as Justin on the take responsibility part. But I'm still thinking. I'm still going. So if we can
That's a
skip
pretty
me for a
comprehensive
sec.
list. It's a pretty good list.
Oh, you can live your life by them.
Pretty good list. I'm going to just want to say I'll have a look at it, because the only thing I'm having problems with is probably the opinion piece. But
I like to get up every.
Just to clarify, you're saying you're not adding 11 or 12? You believe your performance in life is 11 out of 12?
I think I'm rating well in 11 out of 12.
There's always room for growth in every single one of those aspects.
But I can talk to each one of those right now.
Well,
About
we'll break that
Yeah,
down then.
of
Try
course.
to hold as few opinions as possible. What do you think that means?
What's your opinion on that?
Exactly. I don't
Just
know.
one
that's what I'm saying. I've got to get some clarity on that one. I pretty much have a fucking opinion on everything.
Well,
Can you let that go?
What does that mean?
Well,
to let
as
it
in,
go.
I mean, when you say you've got opinions on everything, that's fine, but are there opinions there that don't need to be
Not to be there.
there? Yeah, I suppose.
I mean,
There's no purpose in the opinion.
yeah. I mean, the only time I mean, you're right. There's opinions I have for the sake of trying to win something, which mean all sorts of stuff. All.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're
So win something is so you get something from it. Yeah.
satisfaction a lot of the time.
So it doesn't say anything about whether you express them or not. It just says have less opinions.
Yeah.
Okay. That's very hard.
I know.
to
I'm
me,
thinking straight away. If I don't
to
externalise it, it's
have.
going to internalise it. It's going to fry my brain.
Oh, so you're saying that if you have an opinion, you have to air it, which doesn't surprise me, but I'm just confirming it.
Cut straight through.
I'm actually impressed that all of this stuff you take on board and you still want to come and hang out in my office every now and then.
No, I love hanging out with you.
Okay, well, Marco, then pick a case and a judge each decision on it. So if you during the day would say, what would somebody do? Is there anybody you would look up to kind of act?
Oh, not that I frequently. Yeah, so I mean, Bruce Lee probably comes to mind if I were to pick someone that I reference lots, but
Still?
I actually, yeah. So what I was going to say is that I don't actively do this. So I don't have someone that I go, oh, how would they behave? And then, but I did do this recently where I was dealing with a client and I asked I was going to do something a little fast and loose because the relationship is quite fast and loose in terms of the work that I do for him. But then I said, well, what would someone that I look up to do and how would they treat it? And I actually changed even though it would have been completely fine to do it. I was like, what could this say about me professionally if it did get out, type of thing. So I did use it recently, but it was just in trying to talk myself into doing the right thing. Not, I don't do it actively. Yeah.
I got a little excited when he said my client. I don't know about you guys.
I actually did too.
Shout out to Marco's building his business, and it's a little proud moment for us all.
Yay, I got my first payment for video during the week, which Jason's actually in the room who made that, who was an enabler there. And I would argue that everyone in here is an enabler on that journey, but that was really, really cool to get that get that in the bank. It was just a cool little milestones coming along.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Jason, do you have a guide or something you would write down as one of your guides to life?
Hello, thank you for asking me this question. I would draw back really to the opening subject where, for me, I think, and I'm on this journey at the moment, so that's why I think it's come to the forefront there, is the honesty is being honest with yourself. I think should be in there, absolute jumping out, because unless you're honest with yourself, you're not honest with others around you.
You could pretty much have that in brackets beside every one of these things, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Be honest. Like,
Yeah.
everything is about the honesty.
Exactly, yeah. And I'm on this journey at the moment where I'm learning to be more and more honest with myself, and the more I'm doing it, I'm finding it's opening up other avenues in my life, and being more honest with other people is opening up that.
But you have to start with yourself.
You have to start with yourself, because unless you do that with yourself first, you're not going to be honest with other people out there.
And I think it just opens for bigger, bolder conversation because you are prepared to answer if it gets reflected back onto you. But if you haven't gone through that process, and let's say they come at you, well, how would you do it, or what does that mean to you? What are you going to give them?
How connected do you believe honesty is to vulnerability?
Intertwined. You cannot separate them.
They can't be one
No.
another.
No.
You can't have vulnerability if you're not honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're two pieces of the same pod.
So what does honesty mean to you? Like, I think, so for example, if you're trying to achieve something, all right, whatever that is, I think there's an element of, like, there's times in your life where you have to almost, not fool yourself, but you have to, I mean, I don't mean this term, but I'll use it, the fake it till you make it type approach to things.
I don't mind
And
that.
I think, hey?
I don't mind that too.
Yeah, it's not quite what I mean, but like at times you need to not be dishonest with yourself, but like push and act and behave in a way that may not be congruent with result. And like at what point is like past and result and where you're going in the future, and when you sit in that middle ground, like what your truth is, like, you know, where does that detach? Because I like, okay, be honest with yourself. For anyone listening that hasn't tried to sit with that question, like, what does that mean?
What does it mean?
Like, what does it really mean? And like, so I'll ask you the question there, Jace, because it was on you, so you're in the hot seat. But you know, what does that mean to you? Like, so if you're going through a journey, you just said you're going through this journey of trying to be more honest with yourself. Like, what are you doing differently? Like, is that a look at them in the mirror naked moment, or is that like where are you doing? Like, how are you approaching ripping the Band-Aid off and trying to be honest with yourself?
Okay, I can summarise that quite easily, and then that can jump into all sorts of half-hour discussion. But the one sentence I would say to that is being the person that when I look at myself, I truly am, rather than living and acting and pretending to be the person that I aspire to, or maybe think I would like to be, or I see in a magazine, I want to be that person, or I see that person doing something on social media, I want to do what they're doing. But when it comes down to it, that's not me. I'm me. I'm unique. You're unique. Everyone here is unique, and you've got your own spin on it. And I feel that potentially the last 10, 15, 20 years of my life, I potentially have been living the person that I truly am. And I see so many people around me living other people's versions of themselves, basically. And that frustrates me. It frustrates myself. I'm still on that journey. I'm still not there. Well, I might not ever get there in my entire life, but I'm on that big realization at the moment where, wow, I'm not the person I thought I was. And I'm liking what I'm seeing, but it's that being able to let yourself to open that door to potentially who you are. That's the tough part. And that's what people avoid.
So when you say like 10, 15 years, are you going back to an event? Or is there a time or something that you think changed? Because I just tried to think through that in my past. And I think once you get through the early childhood point, you probably are starting to succumb somewhat to like peer relationships and other things around. Probably, I guess once you're in your once you get to sort of 10, 11, you're in school and there's other, you're trying to, I guess you move into a zone where you're trying to please different people and do different things and you're working out who you are. You reference to like, 10 to 15 years, like you're a good looking bloke, Jace, but you're not like, you're not 20. So was there a
Thank
point?
God the sniper's pointing the other way.
Was there a point? See, this is what I'm trying to do here. Like, was there a point? I'm giving Jason, he's on the podcast. I'm giving you a chance to sort of like dig in a little bit more. Like, are you referencing something that happened, or you just think that maybe at some point, like whether it was because of career or anything else, that you sort of started to like lean away from maybe who you were authentically?
Okay, to summarise that would be, it draws back to the point of what you guys said earlier about that pack. Why are you not truthful in life? It's because, when it comes down to it, as humans, we survive because we stayed in the pack. We if you're honest with someone that brought in food from the cave and it wasn't quite your type of meat that you wanted, or it wasn't cooked to your favour, you'd be kicked out of that cave. So,
but that's an opinion, right?
That's
not a truth.
Where I've I love my friends from England. Hello, everyone that's in England maybe that's listening, but because of social situations you're in, or maybe where you grow up, you have to maybe adapt and fit in and become a chameleon and control and sort of maybe not reveal your true self.
I think we all do.
I think we all do it, right? So we're not grilling you personally, but like...
What's the point?
Just Matt is grilling you, but this is great.
This is in general. This is
I might jump in soon.
This is not unique, right? This is not unique. And like certainly I've done this myself. I'm just like, was there an event, or do you think there was?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, clearly. Did a 10-day meditation retreat, 15, 16 months ago now. Silent meditation, don't speak, you don't communicate, there were 60 of us there, you're not even allowed to look at each other in the eye and do hand gestures or anything at all, and you're purely alone with your thoughts for 10 days, and that was a life-changing moment with myself.
That'll do it.
And it's that, coming out of that, when I came away from that, I really struggled to get back into society and to get back to who I was previously living. And it's easy to fall back into the way you were before, and I got back into that.
So how do you reconcile that statement in terms of, you said it's hard to go back to society, but easy to go back to the person you were?
I didn't explain that. The first few days, it was almost alien to go back into that area.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like, this is too difficult to keep stretching myself. I'm just going to fall back to where I was before. Default, went back there. And now 8, 12, 13, 14 months later, I'm now, hang on, I need to start listening to what I learned those 10 days.
But do you meditate?
I do, but ironically not as much as I should. Yeah.
Because that's the sort of stuff day to day that can help you get a flotation. I did a float tank today. That sort of stuff gets you into you. That's all you've got is your breath and your heartbeat.
Yeah.
That's the sort of stuff you need to get authentic with yourself.
Yeah.
So what makes us like, if we are doing what we're doing, thinking what we're thinking, being who we're being, why are we not honestly being that? Because that is who we are.
I'm just going to disappear into the fucking rabbit hole, right?
It's good Rosé, everybody. It's great Rosé.
Have you done anything else today?
We're talking about, not really, but we're talking about being honest, I guess, measuring that against our vision for ourselves. And because otherwise, it is just not like we're pretending that we're Homer Simpson looking in the mirror, right?
All right, shoot him, Gavin.
So,
Are you saying like, are you never content with where you are? Are you always trying to be someone else, or always trying for growth?
yeah, I am personally.
Yeah.
Striving.
Yep, I do. Certainly, that's probably my mindset for 90-something% of my thinking, is that I'm always trying to improve something.
That's the human condition, though, yeah.
I'm not sure, is it?
I think there's part of it. I think
Is what striving for growth?
Striving for something different, something new. That's why
I don't know. I wouldn't say that's human conditioning, mate. I
think it is.
Well, why why then do we have an 80-20? 80% of the population, 20% of the population are driving 80% of everything in the world.
Yeah.
So are they 80% just...
Probably 80% probably aren't driving hard enough.
Exactly. Aren't asking big enough questions, aren't doing big enough things, aren't... And in that 20%, you've got an 80-20. And then in that 20%, you're an 80-20, right? 100%, exactly right. So I think you're being overly generous to humans.
Yeah.
I'd rather talk to dogs and ducks.
Yeah.
Donald Duck.
Dogs and ducks.
Which you do, but can you remind me what was your rule that you would add, Jace?
The
honest.
truth and
Be
honesty
honest.
with
Be honest yourself. Okay.
Yeah, because unless you've got that foundation, the rest of those 13 might not even be there. Really.
Yeah.
That's what you said as well, love, isn't it? Like,
It's
found love
one
yourself.
of those cornerstones, I think. It's been one of my biggest working progresses for the last...
And I challenge you that it will be your work in progress until the rest of your life.
This is the thing. You're never going to reach nirvana,
I'm not sure what loving myself anymore looks like, but I'll give it a crack.
Is it not okay just to be as well sometimes?
But what is being, mate? What is being when it comes to love?
Yeah.
I'm with Hato, I think.
Your love of your current wife has changed, yeah?
Yeah,
If we
absolutely.
apply it to be, then that love would never have grown.
I'm all for 100%, 90% growth all the time. But like, when do you get to appreciate and have gratitude for where you are at that
Every
time?
day.
If you're always going for 90%, like, can you not? Obviously, there's peaks and valleys. But are you allowed to enjoy that valley of just no growth?
No, fuck the valley, mate. You don't have to go into a valley.
Well, no,
The Welsh people right now are really angry.
I guess.
The valley.
You don't have to go into a valley.
No, I'm not saying you have to go in a valley, but can you not just like, because you obviously grow at different rates, right?
Yeah.
Like, can you not just be really appreciative and have great gratitude for where you are at that point in
I don't
time?
think that precludes you from growing any further or wanting any more.
You said we are always thriving. We are always.
But also, emotion can be different from action.
Yeah.
And so, like, if I try and answer that, because I said I sit in a state of strive all the time, and so am I always sitting in a grateful state? No. And so that's another thing that I'll even be I've been working on, because I know when I'm in a grateful state, I operate better.
Oh, you've just given us one.
Yeah, it's like gratitude. Then it's the guy.
Because I know personally, one of my major things is gratitude. I try to operate from the gratitude state more than striving for growth.
That's in the G2 as well.
Like I'm really keen for growth. Like that's one thing I love. But like I want to be in today as well, enjoy every single day, and have that gratitude for today.
I don't
think they want to.
Yeah.
I don't think it's separate.
I think I'm always sorry, Marco. I think I'm always in that like growth sort of phase. It's just sort of where I've programmed myself to be somehow. Sometimes I struggle to turn it off. I think I come and go with my gratefulness, so on the side of that. And at times that's when I realise I've got a problem if I'm not feeling grateful, and I have to sort of go back and reset that. But I can't seem to turn the overdrive off on the growth sort of side. Marco?
I don't think. Yeah, I was just gonna say I don't think they're mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
To always have a drive for growth and then also be able to appreciate the present. Yeah. I don't think they're mutually.
I think they're almost intertwined, because to grow you have to accept the foundations you're growing from.
Yeah.
And then it also it can be intertwined with honesty too, because if you think you've made it, well, you're never going to go anywhere anyway.
100%. Well, that's
Being honest with yourself.
I've
Because-
got. Sorry.
Yeah.
No. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd be the same. Bolt between growth and gratitude, trying to sit between the two. Similar. I guess it's probably why we're all sitting in this room.
I think everyone sitting here is the same with that. Like personally, I'm the same too. But like, it was just a question that I posed that was interesting to see that.
Did we get to you, Matt, with your rule?
I think you just said one, didn't you?
Well, we'll go with gratitude then.
Or growth.
Well, no, so I thought of gratitude, but then number one is live as if you died but were resuscitated and every minute was a gift. So
Okay, that's pretty much gratitude. I didn't know which in front of me when looking.
That's how Stoics wrote gratitude.
they had a lot of time on their hands.
Yeah. So no, look, I won't add to it. Like I think we talked through those. We
Come on, Matty. Come on,
I've
add
got
one,
one.
mate.
I think I don't know if it's
Oh,
in there.
I'd say something that's probably on there. So I'll just you go.
But just quickly,
yeah,
this
go for
point,
it.
we're kind of honest. I mean, just sidestepping honesty without self-awareness. I mean, is self-awareness responsibility?
Self-awareness.
That is on there, I
Is it
think.
on there?
Is that going to be honest with yourself if you aren't self-aware?
But even like the opinions piece is a self-awareness thing. Like try not to have opinions is having some self-awareness. I mean, I think if you write 12 things down, it really
overarching.
All of these tie into self-awareness.
Yeah.
There's underlying.
Yeah.
I
No,
work out regularly. There you go.
No, but done explicitly.
Wake up early.
I think it'd be a valid addition because don't explicitly do it. I mean, you need I guess it just assumes self-awareness, which is a big assumption, but yeah. Mine, I don't know if it's on there, but there was a line I read the other week that I really liked, which was seek first to understand, then to be understood, which just develops on the whole strand I'm down on, or like asking questions or asking better questions, so just always trying to understand, because everyone's got their reason, their opinion. Yeah. So I would add that one, I think, after lots of deliberation.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's on there, but yeah.
Well, we've bled over an hour now that we've dropped from 3 topics to 2. We've actually pushed over an hour.
No, but we've inserted some comedy.
We've inserted some comedy. I mean, you always provide a bit of comedy.
I definitely wonder whether it's just us that find it funny, though. I might lose it when I listen to some of it.
I don't ask for anyone's opinion. You guys do. I don't.
Yeah, fair enough. You just give them out.
I've got too much to
Dish
give out. I don't
them
need more.
Just give to give.
That's what I'm doing, man.
So stoic.
So now I'm okay with my opinions again.
So
He
stoic.
just gives opinions to give.
But anyway, how'd the Rosé go down, everybody?
Like
That was
Yeah,
nice.
it's all right.
Very good.
I'm actually feeling like we could continue this on, so...
Yeah. Let's go for a 2-hour episode.
Woo! No, I didn't mean the episode. We'll cut that. Just keep drinking rosé. But okay, cool. So that was episode 16. Thanks for listening in. If you've made it to this point, I realise,
Marathon.
yeah, we talk about journeys. Jesus, everyone is a bit of a journey. Like if you stick through it, then kudos to you, right? Thanks, and we'll catch you next episode. See you, everybody.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Yeah.
Champagne.